Okay, we are live. Hello, friends, and welcome to yet another episode of Webisode. We talk about so much about being agile, being into the change, being a person who can lead the change, being a project manager, being an agile coach. But most of the time, all those talks just go to theory. We never implement it in the real life. But today, my guest is someone. He's my mentor. He has been my mentor, but I would say virtual mentor, and he even never knows that he was my mentor. A person who made his name in project management field. Then, being an agile person, he left the complete agile domain and went to make his name in Safe 5 as an agile coach. And now he is recognized in the world as one of the most good coach in the agile domain. You may have heard his videos. If you are certified PMP, if you are certified ACP PBA, I'm 100% sure in one way or another way, you must have used this document. Maybe in the form of questions, maybe Monte Carlo analysis and value videos. So many things are there. Truly a person of a digital era, truly a mentor of thousands. Today, our guest is Saket Bansal. So, Saket, first of all, thank you that you have honored us with your presence.
Thank you, Amer, for inviting me. Yeah.
Saket, can you give your, we know everyone knows you, but if you can give your journey in a brief words, which can help us in our life.
Sure. So I am into the software domain primarily. Like I started from a software domain. I started a development job somewhere around 1997, and then I am around that. I started doing project management somewhere around 2000 2001 because of some changes in the current project. We had to take a responsibility of project management. So I got a fortunately doing project management since early age of my career, and then I got into a lot of entrepreneurship in between, and then I got into a product management program management space, and finally since 2012 I am into agile, or I won't say I'm in agile. I am helping professionals to grow in their professional life. So that is what I do. I do it using tools, and it could be any tools. Whatever helps you in growing in your career, that is an interesting tool for me, so I will work with that tool. So that's what I do, and I am trying to help more and more individuals so that they grow in their professional career.
Okay, you have made a great name in the field of project management. If I just focused on PMP, yet that you are one of those trainers that all over in the Asia, in the Europe, they knew you. It's if you want to do PMP, you can go to Saket Bansal. He will coach, he will train you. But I have seen that now you have moved away since the PMBOK 6th edition. PMBOK 6th edition, you have moved away from PMP and you have focused entirely on the agile processes. Can you elaborate why such a drastic change?
So in a way, what I would say is that we are still helping project management professionals to do PMP. So it is not like that we have left that. Yeah, but it would be fair to say that I'm not putting that much amount of my time in handling PMP related queries and other things, because we have other professionals doing it. So we realized that market has been shifting, and I also realized that PMP is little difficult and long term investment, and that's why I came up with a self-paced program. So we do have a complete self-paced program for PMBOK 6. We are getting ready with the new version of a PMP, which will start January 2021, and we will launch our program by next month. So yes, we are taking care of that part. The only thing is that that part is going more on a self-paced based education program rather than too much interactivity. The another thing is that I also see an opportunity with the changing world. The professionals who are into a project management space can get benefit by doing something which is in trend right now, and things like scaled agile, things like other flavors of agile, were helping our clients to get faster returns. So our goal is always that how can I help my clients to earn faster? And since we saw that the agile based approaches were giving quick returns, so we kind of made that, okay, you keep investing in PMP as a midterm return target, and it may go a little slow before because it may take 2 to 3 months time and some amount of time and money investment, but you can get some faster returns by doing agile based program. So this is the way I kind of seeing that, okay, yeah, we help people doing more agile and safe and other kind of stuff. Yeah.
I think PMI have heard you and they have started shifting entirely from the traditional methodology that was the basically trademark of PMP, and now they have adopt themselves to completely agile. In PMBOK 6, we had almost 10% agile, and with the PMBOK 7th coming and the changes we are going to have in PMP in the January 2, we are going to have 50% agile. So I would say you are ahead of the curve. I will say early adopter. You saw that change, something like that.
Yeah. So the idea here is, since our job is to make our clients ready for tomorrow, so we need to sense little bit ahead in time, and we do experiment and we see where to put, because if we remain with the market, then our clients will get left behind the trend. So we try to be little predictive in the market, and see organization like PMI and large organization, they wait for stabilization of any concept, because they don't want to get into anything which might shake at a later stage. So they wait, and the advantage of it is when they get in, it's already stable. The disadvantage is that sometimes they may get delayed in getting into it. But again, every business has their own model. I think PMI wait, but when they get in, they may get at a scale. So with the acquisition of disciplined agile and the amount of energy and money investment PMI now doing on agile, hopefully they can acquire this agile market space as well. But whatever they do, we are anyway helping our clients to move forward. So yes, with the project management, with agile, with something else, with the digital or something else, we always keep you moving towards a better career life. Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about the elephant in the room. How agile is changing traditional project management. We are talking about that now PMP is changing and we are moving towards the head of the curve. But let's specifically talk about the construction projects, oil and gas projects. They are still following the traditional methodology, plan driven methodologies. How they can benefit from the agile.
Yeah. So what I personally see, and I keep talking about about it in my videos as well, both things are changing. The today's word of agile is also changing, and the yesterday's word of project management is also changing, and both of them are converging at a point before some new trend can get started. So there is a
Okay.
possibility of new trend also coming in at a later stage. So it's like dilution, or I would say merging of both. Now how? So earlier, the agile was adapted in a small, innovative space. You are 5, 6 people, you want to do something, you don't want to do an estimation, you don't want to do a cost projection, you just want to get started and figure it out as you move along. If you acquire customer, you continue. If you don't acquire customer, you discard. So that's the kind of I would say innovators and visionary people were using agile when it got started 20 years ago. Now, over a period of time, that the large enterprises who are worried about cost, who are worried about predictability, who are also worried about improving productivity, and they want to make some use of what this is happening in the smaller world, agile. So they started picking up agile now. You can say the enterprises which are working with 100 plus people projects. Now, good amount of governance, good amount of predictability, which was kind of need for them. I would not say that that was a function or dysfunction. That was a need for a large organizations are coming into the agile space. So it is getting little more, having a body of knowledge which can give some kind of a pragmatic companies also some relief. And at the same time, the traditional projects, whatever the predictability which we were seeing in everything, they are also realizing that predictability is no more a real predictability. Even things which were looking predictable, now again there will be a variance in it. So there could be some industry where predictability is just 10%, there could be some industry where predictability is around 60%, but there is an amount of uncertainty, there is an amount of a need of getting quick returns, getting validation of our learning in a earlier pace. So I would say that is something is influencing people to go into a little incremental approach, little iterative approach, and someone can label it as an agile, someone can label it as just incremental delivery, lean delivery, someone can say it is just like we are doing a shorter batch size, smaller batch sizes. Label is something which makes people comfortable, but I would say that the idea here is, let's get ready with some amount of uncertainties in our plan, and do something which can help us in validating our assumption frequently, rather than we keep building something for multiple years and then we realize that it is not making sense. So at some percentage all industries are taking that part of it. The second movement which is influencing the non-IT organizations also getting into agile space is the IT is a part of any organization now. So theoretically we can say it's a non-IT organization, but good amount of system in the organizations are around IT, and the overall business runs on IT. So IT is becoming like a fuel in your car. So if you don't have a fuel, you can't run your car. So more or less like that. So that way you can see some part of organization is anyway even directly influenced with IT as well. And that's why in other industries you may see a more and more influence of agile based approaches coming in. Yeah.
So as we are moving towards the digital era and IT is becoming the fundamental of each and everything, the agile is the trend. And we can also see, as Saket has said, that it is possible that along the way with traditional approach moving towards agile and agile approach trying to lean up with the traditional approach, maybe along the way we can have another approach, maybe
Yes.
hybrid or something new. We just have to be ready and we just have to accept that there will be uncertainty along the way. If we can accept the uncertainty along the way, we can help the things out. Now, a very important question that I have been asked by many students. We have received 2 to 3 questions that they asked me specifically asked to you. How we manage risk in agile environment?
So
Because
that
yeah, yes,
So the way agile is designed, so the idea of agile is that it is designed to mitigate and manage risk by design rather than doing something extra. Now, how do we understand that? We also have a term called organic risk management. So the way you work, it mitigates, manages your risk on an incremental basis. So the idea of agile is validating your assumptions. The assumptions which are related to estimations, assumptions which are related to customer preferences, assumptions which are related to technology. Now, how do you validate your assumption? Because you engage everyone and you do a small batch size development. And when you are working in a small batch size, when you are working with the stakeholders, the risks are expected to get managed, or you can say the issues related to gaps and other things get exposed automatically. So they come out. Now, while doing it, if you want to do something extra, the way the traditional organization, traditional way you were doing risk management, like projecting some of the business risk and monitoring it, I see in many large enterprises where the pragmatic agile is getting implemented, they still follow some amount of risk mitigation, especially at a business case level. They want to be very sure that we are investing in something, we should not get into a stage where we don't make money. So there will be organizations where they may still follow some amount of their old way of maintaining risk and maintaining ownerships and other things. But technically speaking, agile is primarily designed to mitigate and expose risk early and often. That's the idea. Again, the agile label get used at any place. So one is a label and what is a real intent behind it. So intent behind it is that we learn continuously, and we change our approach based on what we are learning, rather than we remain blind based on our past data and past assumption. We still use our past data, we still use our past assumption. It is not like we have to keep them aside, but we do go with an awareness, this is past, yeah, and the new reality might be different, and we need to be open about it. And that's the essence of agile. And I believe if we take this particular essence, it helps us in doing better risk management, even better visualization of risk.
so the real way is basically agile by design, manage all the risk. We are working in iteration, and in this way, we can see okay, in this iteration, we can have this risk. In the next iteration, when we are doing sprint review, sprint retrospect, or any other things you can call, we can find the risk in that way. we are having a customer collaboration, we are talking to the customer, we have lesson learned with our as, and we are moving along the way. So by design, agile can reduce the majority risk, and along the way we can also have the flexibility to utilize the old approach. For example, if we want to use Monte Carlo analysis, sensitivity analysis, we can still use that with the in the sprint with the other methods. Now, very important question. We have more than 1 billion certified PMP on traditional methodology. Now, from next year, the PMP is going to change entirely. How do you see it? How organizations are going to act? Will they hire a person who have been certified in the previous methodology, or they are going to hire a person who has been certified in the later methodology?
So see, my perception about the learning and certification is, what I see is the certification is a good object to facilitate your learning. So that's the whole idea. And traditionally, I would say the PMP has been doing great service in achieving that goal. I meet so many people who have left learning and growing for 10 years, 20 years, and somewhere they get a motivation to do something, and PMP gave them that target. And they invested their time and energy. Some people end up investing 6 months because they have been away from their studies. And once they do PMP, it is just not the PMP, but the whole journey changes their life. So what change it brings in? It makes you aware that you need to learn. And people who have been doing, and the process of maintaining PDUs, it might be simple for many, but it might become very complicated for others. But the idea here is that PMI want to keep your spark for learning alive. Now, if you take that intent that, okay, I am also acquiring PDUs, I am also working in that particular space, and technically speaking, PMP certified is PMP certified, so there is no difference. So my idea here is, since you have already invested and got the spark of learning, you have been earning PDUs on year, and you have been renewing your certificate, assuming like PMBOK 6 already had good amount of agile. Even if so, it means you might have done PMP 4 years ago, 5 years ago, but still you are investing in maintaining your PDUs. So my suggestion is, maybe the new program which you take for renewing your PMP, take it based on the new trends. So maybe you do an agile based programs to renew your certificate, and then you are at par. So you have a PMP certificate. Just for an example sake, if I take a name, you may end up doing certified Scrum Master from Scrum Alliance, or you may do a disciplined agile delivery from PMI, and you can say, you rather than saying to something else, someone, you also can make yourself equipped with the latest learning. Yeah. So that's the whole idea of growing. And I don't see, if you do, you should face any challenge, provided you acquire some of the learning related to agile way of working, then you should be
So
perfect. Yeah.
I really love the way you comprehend the PMP. It's not about getting the PMP, as we are seeing in this COVID days, that there's a whole people come whenever I open a LinkedIn profile, people are getting PMP, PMP, PMP. So it's not just about certification, it's about the journey. It's about how you change yourself when you go to the PIM book and you read all those stuffs. You are again exposing yourself to the different concept. So in PMP, when you are going to have the PDUs, the best way is to go for those programs that have agile in them. Maybe if you don't want to go to certified scrum or other things, there are so many webinars, so many things that are being taught, and you can learn from those things, and you can update your knowledge, because this is all what the certification is all about, that you need to update yourself. You have to keep moving and keep learning about yourself. Okay, now since since the world is moving towards the agile environment, how much agile is becoming more important for non-IT professionals? We know that everyone knows it is extremely important for IT professional to maybe do disciplined agile, certified scrum, or maybe PMI ACP. How much about mechanical engineer, electrical or civil engineer?
Sure. So since in 2000, like 12, sorry, when we started our Eyes and Bridge, I was also doing PMI ACP. I was also doing Certified Scrum Master, and we have been facilitating all this from last 8 years. And I see occasionally people from different way of life. I used to get automobile engineers who were into R&D of cars and other things coming to and understanding what is happening in an agile space. Some of my clients did PMI-ACP. They even got certified. So there has been a traction towards non-IT space already, and they were kind of
Okay.
an early adapters. And when I say the PMI making decision, because PMI will not make decision based on something which is still evolving. When they make a decision, it means the trend has settled. Yeah, that's because
Hmm.
their process is they do a role alignment and role definition study every 3 years, and they capture what people are talking about. And it has been multiple iteration where they see agile trend is emerging, and then they decided that looking at it, let's give 50% weightage to complete PMP program. Now, when they are giving a complete weightage, a 50% weightage to a PMP program, I feel personally, and I trust their sense and data, that it's going to be important for professionals who are into project, program, product delivery, irrespective of the domain you are coming from. So I am not saying that if you're working in a factory as a mechanical engineer, then agile is becoming relevant for you. But I do believe if you are working in a mechanical based environment, but you are creating a new product, you are running a project to set up a new plant, or you are running a project to set up a new device or design a new device, there is going to be need of agility, need of agile ways of thinking. You might use different terms, but there will be a need. So professionals who are into product management, irrespective of a domain, professionals who are into project which are directly, indirectly influencing product will see a lot of value by applying the agile and lean ideas in their delivery space. The frameworks like scaled agile, they are integrating multiple multidisciplinary teams, so there is a possibility of that maybe a new car is getting designed. There is some set of mechanical teams are involved. There is some set of like a firmware team is involved, and ultimately there is a software team, and ultimately car comes as a one product. So many times the IT and a software will come as an integrated component to your product, and even if it is not coming as an integrated component of your product, it will be still a good thing to know, because ultimately you do your product delivery using agile ideas. So I see a value, yeah, and I rely a PMI data for that. Yeah,
True, true. PMI data is, you are 100% right that PMI is never early adopted. They go to the curve, maybe even we can say that they go to in the end. They become the last person to go there. But once PMI is there, they know that this trend is going to be there. So if someone asks you, I want to learn about Agile, which certification are you going to recommend? SAFE, Certified Scrum Master, PMI-ACP, which one? Or Scrum Alliance?
yeah. See now what see, my opinion here is that you need to see the idea here is the certificate is something is a branding for your profile, and the learning is the main goal, and there are multiple ways of achieving learning, and there is something a branding you need at the end. So that's the two dimensions to it. So now learning can be done by reading books, by watching videos, by attending events, by attending webinar, as you said, and may not be by spending a certified program alone. But sometimes you want to give a packaging to your learning. You want to say, you want to bring some credibility that, guys, I am something. Yeah, please look at me. So that's the idea where the certificate becomes important. So my advice is look at in your industry and understand which brand is more popular in your space and go with that brand. See, ultimately, they will have 80 to 90% overlap of content. If you do, say, certified scrum master, if you do a PMI ACP, if you do a professional scrum master, you will see a kind of a good amount of overlap. Yeah, scaled agile is a little different. So scaled agile is itself is a framework. Disciplined agile is also a little different. But basic agile and scrum may be popular in all these three. So in general, you need to find out which one is something can give you a quick reward. What I feel, if you are in an IT space and your project teams are small, maybe certified scrum master is a good starting point. Guessing that your employers and the job sites are asking about this certificate frequently. So one of the easiest thing one can do is think of your target job position in your market and then search on job sites and see which particular certificate is frequently asked. So ideally you should do that certificate, and then you see how it aligns with my learning. So you can find the answer yourself. If you just need a default answer, I think a certified scrum master in general is a good starting point. Someone can do it because it's pretty common, pretty easy to acquire, and then probably you can go into a PMI-ACP and others. Say scaled agile framework is a very useful thing to do, provided you have a vision and you have a space where you are going to use agile at scale. So at least like 50 plus people working together and achieving some aligned goals, which is the usual case in large enterprises, but may not be a beginning a case for many enterprises. So that's something you need to see.
So really a very difficult question, I know, for you to know, because you have to label one certificate being a trainer of all these certificates. But the bottom line is this, as Sakit has said, identify your future job where you want to work and see what is the job market, which certificate they need. And if you are just entering in the field, then certified Scrum Master is the first step to go there. Then you can go to PMI, ACP, and then Scaled Agile, and then sky is the limit. You can go as much as you want. So, Sakit, we have only 2 to 3 minutes left. So, very important question: how much communication is important in agile environment? Now we are moving from traditional environment where there was borders between the communication. We have no osmotic communication, no co-location. A boss never tells his juniors what is the next day production, how we are going to do. Where to the co-location, osmotic communication, Kanban, and so many things. So how crucial it is to have a good communication skills.
So there are two dimensions. One is a communication skill, and another is that openness. Yeah. So, and I would say that successful organizations, even before, like before they adapted Agile, were having these two in their DNA. So even with a so-called traditional approach, the successful enterprises were knowing how to create openness in an environment and how to make people speak well. Yeah. So that was always there. And that will be always in demand. Now, when I talk about a communication skill for any aspiring professional and anything, I usually see as an iceberg metaphor. So, as a professional, I will have some skills which are above the water, and there will be a lot of skills which will be under the water. Now, both the skills are important. Something, if I don't have anything above the water, my iceberg is kind of not in existence because others can't see me. Yeah. And if I just have above the water, I won't sustain for long because I will melt down because I don't have a foundation for it. So the skills like emotional intelligence, the skills like communication, the skills like facilitation, the skills like working with people, they are all under the water skills. And some part of those skills will be visible, but they are something which are long lasting. So I think one has to develop an approach where he can talk, listen, and listening is the first step of learning communication. So if you listen someone, then you can find out how do you speak, because what do you speak, how do you speak is a one thing, and what do you speak is another thing. And in order to know what do you speak, you need to listen first. So that part of professional, I think, skills will be needed for project manager or agile professional or something else. So I think this is a good investment one can put in because they are long lasting. They will stay for very long. Yeah.
So we can also do a complete webisode on just listening. Listening is so much important than communication skills. We can have the complete on this thing. So we are having many questions. So let's just we take one or two questions from them. Okay, is there anything which can be summarization of both agile plus waterfall? Any framework or guide details or identify best practices to this?
Okay, and that is what the PMI is all about. So PMI business is doing that only. So what they call it, we want to create a pragmatic approach. So I would say the current PMBOK 6 has an element of it. Future PMBOK 6, PMBOK 7 will have more and more element of it. So that's a something is going to happen. Now, if you want to just pick up a one name, the PMI's investment in disciplined agile delivery is around that. So they won't say that waterfall, but good amount of predictive lifecycle practices sometime can coexist with agile way of working. Now let's understand why it might be needed. You may have a different business models in your organization. Some part of our organization is working on new product development, but some part of our organization is working on ensuring the product which were made 5 years ago still producing desired value, and they are giving stability. Now you can't apply a same approach in the environment. You need to have because the problems are different, and the key performance areas are different. So there has to be a coexistence of multiple approaches. There is nothing like A is good over B. The all about is the contexts are changing, and different context requires different amount of agility, different amount of inspect and adapt. And that is what the kind of a target segment for discipline agile delivery, or a discipline agile, which is now acquired by PMI. So if you want to look at a framework, you have a good amount of information available on PMI site. You can go to a PMI and check discipline agile delivery content, and you can get it.
And also, in addition to discipline agile, with the changes PMP is having from the January, we are going to get the complete methodology to framework combining together. So if you have seen the course content of PIM book 7th, so this is a complete thing that maybe we can also have in addition to discipline agile. Okay, one last question from audience. Setting up new product, we can use agility, but how in operations? So if you can answer.
Yeah. So operations is more about we are using the lean ideas. So the idea of operation is how do we see bottlenecks, and how do we deliver fast and remove the hands off. So even when we, because nowadays frameworks like scaled agile are focusing on business agility. It is not only agile only in the product development space. So the scaled agile also apply and recommend applying a lot of lean ideas of eliminating waste, continuously doing value stream mapping, identifying bottlenecks, and aggressively removing bottlenecks. So those ideas remains relevant. They are, I think, century old ideas now. They will keep coming back with a different color, with a different name, but that is something is going to be relevant. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So we are getting many gratitude message. Avaz Khan is saying that while I was doing my PMP, Sakit quality videos has helped me a lot. Then we have
Thank you.
Gulzar saying thank you and so many things. There's so many people saying gratitude to you. You have helped millions of people that would say that they are doing PMP or preparing it without knowing it. The content, the free content you are putting on YouTube on daily basis, it has helped so many people. So from all of them, I would like to thank you for
Sure.
putting
My
those
pleasure.
material, and I will request you yet keep on sending that material. With that, I will thank you for giving your precious time for attending this episode, and hopefully we will see you some other time with some
Thank
different
you.
topic.
My
Thank you, Mr.
pleasure.
Sakit. Thank you. Okay.